Okay, so welcome to another video of this series. In the last video, we created a couple of functions to fetch the historical data from yFinance and the macro indicators using Pandas data reader library. Now that we have data, we need to clean it. What do I mean by clean it? We need to have it in a format that we can use for modeling. If I go here, I have fetched the macro indicators data from 1992, right? So some of the stock value, depending on what stock you're picking, might be older than 1992. So I would have data from, let's say, 1985 to 2025, and some of them would have data after 1992. First, if the company is new, I wouldn't have data before 1992, a long way after 1992 as well. For example, if a company became public in 2005, then I would only have data from 2005 to 25. So basically what I'm saying, the timeline of these two, the historical data and the macro indicators data, could be different, right? So we first need to match those timelines. The second one is not every day would have the data point in macro indicators particularly. So for example, some of those indicators are not published on a daily basis. For example, GDP data that are only available on quarterly basis. So there is only one data point in 4 months. So you need to fill out the other dates, because you have the stock data for every day, but you don't have the other data for every day. So you need to have a data set prepared that has value for each and every day, and it doesn't have null value. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean the data, and we'll process it. We'll apply something called forward and backward filling to handle those missing values, and we will drop the residual null points, null data points, to prevent the any issue during the training process. So in particular, I want to mention that though we are dealing with time series data, it is crucial, very crucial, to fill the gaps in the data, because if there are any gaps in the data, the model will distort and it will not understand the trends efficiently. So yeah, anyway, let's create a first function to clean out the data. I will call it preprocess data, and I will pass the data frame, Pandas data frame in it. First of all, I will do forward filling, fill NA, because null value is sometimes called NA, is indicated by not applicable, or NA not available, whichever you say. So null values, fill the null values. The method for that would be forward filling and in place equals to true. Basically it just replaces the data frame with the forward filled values. And I'll also do backward filling after forward filling, because why backward filling is important is, if you do forward filling, if let's say you have 10 rows and first 2 rows are null, then number 7 and 9 row are null. So forward filling, what it does, it takes the value of the previous data point and copies to the next null point, right? So it fills the null data point at row 7 and 9, but it wouldn't have any value for data point 1 and 2. So what we need to do after forward filling, we need to backward fill. So if we'll take number 3 data point and fill it into 2, and then we'll take number 2 data point and fill it into 1. So we have everything not null data frame, clean data frame basically. So the method would be backfill and in place equals to true. All right, and df dot drop. Now if still there are any null values, I just want to drop those. There is very few chances if it will have any null values, but still, just to have a clean data set, I'm just putting it there, and return df. All right, so that's about cleaning the data set. Now the next point I want to cover in here is creating more features. Feature, I talked about in last video. I talked about what feature is. Basically, it provides an input that affects the outcome of the target variable. Here, the closing price, the target variable is close of the historical data, so close column is target variable. All others will affect its value, so all others are features. We have open, high, low, volume, and these all macro indicators are called features. But I believe these features are not enough, so I want to create more features with the help of existing ones. So firstly, I'll create 3 features. Let me talk about those, what sort of features I'll be creating. One is log return. Right, log closing price would have an integer or floating point integer number, which is a raw value. But if I take a log value of that close price, it normalizes the returns, and it reducing something called heteroscedasticity. And then why does it matter? Why do I even want to do that? It matters because it's the target variable used for the training. It's more stable than the raw price of the close that we fetched from yFinance. The second feature that I'm going to be creating is called rolling volatility. In the first video of this playlist, I talked about the volatility of the stock market, right? The trend of returns, the stock price of it is volatile. It's never stable. It is volatile. We need to measure the volatility in some way. So what we're going to do, we are going to create a feature called rolling volatility. What it does is it's basically a standard deviation of log returns over past 30 days. You can take 60 days, 90 days, 15 days, whatever windows that suits you. But in general, in standard practice, you calculate 30-day volatility, rolling volatility. Why do we want to do that? Is the purpose behind this is captures the risk. It's basically standard deviation of returns. And why would I want to do that? Why does it matter that much? It indicates the higher volatility. That means the market are uncertain. There is much more uncertainty in the market, and its impact is important for forecasting and risk management. In the first video, I talked about calculating VAR, value at risk, how much risk I have by investing into this stock. So I want to manage my risk, and for risk management and forecasting, volatility is crucial to have. So that's why I'm gonna create that one. The third one I'm gonna do is max drawdown. Imagine a stock price, a graph. Stock price is going up, it drops down, it goes up more, it drops down way downwards, it goes up a little, it drops down just a little bit, goes up again and drops again. So the lowest drop, the sudden drop, the maximum sudden drop, that's that trend I want to know and have in mind of my model. I want my model to consider the maximum drop that happened. So that's what is called basically max drawdown. The formula for that is closing value divided by rolling max of last 30 day minus 1. You don't need to worry about the formulas of those. I haven't memorized those formulas. Whenever I need such a thing, I just Google those, or maybe I'll ask ChatGPT and it will give me the formula, and it will also give me the Python function if I want. Anyway, you don't need to remember that, but you do need to keep that in mind, that these are all the features you can create, and these all the features would be helpful for your model training. And why would I need max drawdown? That comes the question again. It again is a useful risk metric, and it helps the model to understand the loss that happen, the extreme losses that happen over the period of time. And then we already have, I believe, the time base. We have time series. We have date time object here. So we already have date, day of the month, day of the week, month, and year, such of features in our data set. We just need to extract them out in a different column, and it will also help us to capture the calendar effect. What month had the maximum returns? What day of the week had the maximum loss? Those are trends. So yeah, let's create a function to create three main features: the max drawdown, log returns, and rolling volatility, and the calendar features. Right, we already have the data set, so date time object in the data set, so we'll just extract the dates from that. So let's create a new function that create features. I'm gonna pass data frame, and probably the name of the asset is just ticker anyway, because it just if we have more than one, it will just help us to know what ticker we have been processing. Anyway, the first one, df, we have passed the historical data, so df ticker. I will name the column that I want in the data frame. First one is log return, and what this will be is I will use NumPy and p dot log value of close column from df from data frame close. Let me just copy it from here because I don't want to have any typo anywhere. Close divided by df. Again, I'll just copy it. Close dot shift 1. So that gives me the log return value. The second feature is, again, I'm just going to copy it from here. The second feature would be rolling volatility. Rolling volatility equals to, we again are going to be using the data frames close value. Wait, we do already have log return, so we don't need to use close there. So we can use this one. We can use log return to calculate the rolling volatility. If you remember, I talked about this. The rolling volatility, it basically the standard deviation of the log returns over the past 30 days. All right, so it's just rolling and I need to give window. You can use 60 days or 30 days or 15 days, whichever you want. I'm gonna use 30 and the standard deviation. Okay, so third feature is max drawdown. The max drawdown is closing value divided by rolling max 30 days minus 1. Right, so max drawdown equals to df closed divided by df, I'm just gonna copy it, close dot rolling average of last 30 days, the maximum value of that minus 1. All right, we do have the three main features now. Now let's create the datetime objects. All right, so df year equals to, we do have df.index.year. So this one, we don't see any date time column here, but on yFinance, if you will explore the this ticker, you will see the date time object there. So this stock.history function with the period argument in it, it will give us the datetime object as indexed. So that's why dataframe.index.year. So df, another one we want is month. Again, df.index.month. The other one we will need is the week. So df, I will just might as well copy this one. Week, and week, the last one would be the day of the week. So I will literally call it day of week, and it is again called day of week. All right. I believe, can we create any more? I can create more. We can also create momentum. So df, I'm gonna create a couple of more features here. I believe I have created it in my in my first video when I showed you the project, I did have those created. So momentum, what momentum is basically the difference between the closing value of last 10 closing values. All right, so we do have closing values, so dot diff last 10. So why do we need that? Again, it adds the trading psychology insights, basically the price momentum, and then it gives the reversal signal. It was going up, then it suddenly dropped down, it became negative, basically that. If that is an oversold condition, it will give us the insight of that, the momentum. The other one I remember is RSI, basically relative strength index, is basically 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus average gain by average loss. So that's a bit too technical. It's the indicator of if that is oversold or overbought. If the price is, it gives us the indication of if that is bullish momentum or the bearish momentum in the stock selling. So anyway, so let's do that. RSI is, let me just confirm the formula. Yep, that's the one. 100 minus 100 divided by, sorry, what was that? 100 minus 100 divided by 1 just gonna put this one in the brace, 1 plus diff close one plus closing price dot percentage change rolling. I'm gonna give window of 14 here. Sorry about that. And dot mean divided by df. Might as well copy this one, because again I don't want to here, and this is gonna be standard deviation, not mean. Standard deviation Let me just make sure I have all the parentheses closed. Open, close, open, close. Okay, and this one is here. All right, so we have created all the needed features here. All right, I see that. Log. Okay, so I believe just need to return the df after creating those. Okay, so I believe that's about it for this video. They can become a bit too overwhelming, but don't worry, once we get into the modeling, it will become more fun. So yeah, if you don't understand what I just said, go through the video again to learn what each feature is and how it adds to the value. So it will become much easier once you go over that 2-3 times. So yeah, I won't put you under more pressure. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the new one.